Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Digital by AttentionMedia. Today we are talking what CMOs, managing directors, and business owners need to know when it comes to digital marketing and digital growth in particular, right? So we really want to break down the importance of not getting lost in your Facebook ads account or not trying to manage all of your social media when you are in that CEO, business owner, managing director role, right? So we want to look at the top level. How can you maximize your digital growth? The things that you need to know, the things that you need to stay up with to achieve the objectives that you want to achieve using digital marketing. So that episode is coming up next. Stay tuned. Welcome to Digital, a podcast brought to you by AttentionMedia, a location-agnostic digital growth agency helping businesses become iconic brands. On this show, we dive into the hottest topics, the latest updates, and what's working in social media and digital marketing right now to get you up to speed and keep you informed. And if you want to grow your business through strategic digital marketing, head over to attentionmedia.com.au, click on the Book a Discovery Call tab, fill out some details, and we'll be in touch. We'd also love to know if you're listening to this show. So please take a screenshot, upload it to your preferred social media account, and tag us at Attention Media Agency. Let's get into the show. All right, so today's topic is all around digital growth. So recently I spoke at a business event locally, a high growth business event, and the topic for the presentation that I gave was around digital growth and what CEOs, CMOs, managers, general managers, anybody that's in the upper management of a business, small or large, what they need to know about digital growth and digital marketing. Right, we're in a period where. We're in a period of time where there is so much change that's happening within the digital marketing industry, within social media, and it's a full-time job literally for even us inside of a digital agency to keep up with, right? There's just so much that's happening, not just from a platform level, but also from a political level, from an environmental level. All of this sort of stuff is affecting digital marketing, social media, how these platforms perform, how you use them, how you can best utilize them to drive digital growth. So just wanted to make a really short, snackable podcast episode today for everybody around digital growth. What is digital growth, right? So when we talk digital growth, we are talking about growing a business's revenue, its bottom line, its profit, using digital marketing, right? So we are leveraging digital marketing, we're leveraging social media to impact a business's revenue and profit over a long-term period, right? So a really good way to kind of define this term is, digital marketing campaigns are kind of a siloed thing, right? Like you might run a campaign for, a particular event or a particular season or, a particular product line, right? But it's very siloed. Whereas we talk about digital growth, we are talking about a overarching strategy to use digital to grow your business over the long term, right? So it's just a much more holistic picture. We're talking how can we move the needle in a significant way over a long period of time to help us meet our business objectives, especially from a revenue and profit standpoint, right? So that's digital growth. So there's a little bit of a mindset shift around that as well, but it's a really, really important one. So, I covered this topic, for this high growth business group. And, the people in that room were the CEOs, the general managers, the managing directors of local businesses, right? All types of industries, big and small, but the whole premise of the conversation, the whole, reasoning behind the presentation is to say that, for a general manager to be worried about, how to run Facebook ads, right? How to make sure that their Instagram feed looks aesthetically pleasing, right? All of these sort of things that have a level of importance, but there's a time and a place, and there's a person who is best suited to do that, right? And for anybody who is in, the C-suite, who owns a business, so much of your time goes into running the business, right? Day to day, working on the business, the growth plans, the strategy, driving the vision, driving the performance of your team, right? You don't have time to be also sitting behind the computer, loading up your Facebook campaigns, scheduling your content across different platforms. There really is a time and a place. So what you need to know as a business owner, as a CEO, as a managing director, is what the platform's abilities are, what their capabilities are, and what they can bring to the table for your business in terms of business growth, right? And that does require keeping up with the industry to a certain level, right? Making sure that you're doing some research, that you're talking to people within the industry that are credible, that you trust, that you can get reliable information from, so that you can stay up to date with what is happening, right? No different to anything else that's happening in the outside world that could impact your business. Staying up to date with the market, staying up to date with the latest in HR and all of that sort of stuff that is critical to running a business. The same comes into play for your marketing. So that is digital growth. Change is constant. The platforms are constantly evolving. So you as a business owner need to be really focused on driving the business forward and not running your marketing campaigns yourself, if that makes sense. The next point that we spoke about was how marketing is an investment, right? Or it should be an investment, right? And if your marketing is not returning on your investment in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not talking about, a direct financial return as soon as you launch a campaign or as soon as, an ad goes in the paper or an ad goes on the TV. We are talking about a return on investment over an extended period of time. But that all comes back to having the right strategy in place, right? And executing it in a way that is going to get you the best results possible. So if you are looking to make an investment in your digital marketing, you need to look at that investment in proportion with the objectives that you were trying to achieve, right? So what we need to do is say, if we want to grow your business, if you want to grow your business by 10%, right? If you want to grow your business by 50%, if you want to grow your business by 500%, what are those figures? And then what do you think you need to invest in order to achieve that objective, right? And this kind of comes back to expectations. And for us in agency land, partnering with a business, it is all around really solid communication and setting expectations around what is achievable and what is going to need to be done in order to meet the objectives, right? So, for example, if you're looking to increase your business revenue by 50% over X period of time, thinking that a $1,000 a month Google Ads investment is going to do that is generally going to be, unrealistic, right? We have to set expectations around what does it actually take inside our business to generate a certain amount of income, and what kind of investment do we need to make in order to make that a reality? So think about your marketing as something that is not just let's dabble and see what happens, because when we look at it from that lens, we often think, what's the least amount of money that we can spend to see if this will work? But so often you get what you pay for. And if we look at our marketing and investment as, there's a little bit extra there, let's throw, $1,000 at it, let's throw $2,000 at it and see what happens. That see what happens can often be so detrimental. So big piece of advice there is to really consider how much you want to meet your objective, and then what you realistically can expect to invest in order to achieve that objective, right? Just look at it through that lens of digital growth as an investment, and the chances for success will be so much higher. In terms of different platforms that can help us to drive digital growth, we have the most common would be a website, right? So businesses and brands have a website, you have a digital presence. That is the type of platform that you can use to drive digital growth. Then we look at paid advertising. We look at pay-per-click advertising like Google ads, YouTube ads. We talk about social media advertising, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest. The list goes on. And this is where, as a business owner, as a CEO, as a managing director, again, you need to look at who, not how, right? Who can help us or our business or our brand achieve what we need to achieve, and who has the skill set, the results, the proven track history in order to help us achieve that. So really think about, when it comes to how we are going to do this, ask the question who. Who can help us? Who's going to give us the best chance at being able to meet those objectives? On the flip side of that, with the platforms that can help us to drive growth through the business, we need to think about making sure that any platforms that do exist for our business, any digital touch points, that they are optimized, that they are up to date, that they are current, that they are performing at their very best level. And a really good example of this, which I mentioned to the group that I spoke to as well, is around businesses, well-established business. You've been around for 10, 20, 50 odd years. You do have a website in place, but that website may have been built 5, 10, 15 or 20 years ago, right? So we need to look at that digital asset and go, is that performing at the best level that it can be performing? Is it representing our brand in the best possible way? Because so often there's many, many websites out there, and I'm sure many people watching and listening can relate, that the website is just kind of left to its own devices, right? It's been there for quite some time. It hasn't been updated recently. There's no kind of fresh content being added to the website. And what happens there is that, Google will look at that website, and if that's the case, hasn't been updated, it is quite old, there's, maybe there's no security certificate installed, they are not going to, Google is not going to rank that website as well as it might based on all of those factors, right? So again, it's kind of looking at your digital ecosystem, your digital assets, and making sure that they are up to date, that they are performing as best they possibly can be, and that your brand is being represented in the best possible way because everything is updated and performing at its peak. So another great example, look at the current assets that you've got and make sure that everything is up to date and working as well as it possibly can be. The next thing when we're talking about digital growth is the concept of unit economics. And again, this will tie back in really, really well to when you're looking at meeting X objective. What do we need to invest in order to meet that objective? And to simplify that, let's talk about e-commerce, for example. So we're selling product online and we're going to use digital marketing. We're going to use Google ads. We're going to use Facebook ads. We're going to use a platform that we invest a certain amount of money into, and we want to make X times return on that money, right, to help us meet our objectives. What we need to do is look at the unit economics, which is basically, what do things cost? Like, what does it cost you as a business to produce that product, to supply that product, to ship it? What are all the costs that are involved in getting that product created and into the hands of your customer, right? Then from that, how much profit do you make? What is your margin on those products, right? How much profit of X product do you make? Because that is what you're going to be able to use to invest into your marketing over a long-term period, okay? And you can look at digital growth and the investment that needs to be made, depending on your objectives, might be quite significant. But at the end of the day, if you can do the strategic work up front to make sure that you understand that we need to be allocating X amount of ad spend to Google ads per month or X amount of ad spend to Facebook ads a month to drive the kind of results that we want to achieve. Number one, that's going to be able to help you put some numbers around that investment in particular. And number two, that's also going to help alleviate some of the, perhaps some of the skepticism or, hesitation in investing, further into digital marketing, because you have some numbers, you have a goal, and there's basically a roadmap towards achieving that goal. Okay, so it really does help to make things much, much clearer. And if you're working with an agency or an external party, really make sure that sort of stuff forms, or is covered in a discovery session or in a strategy session or during the setup phase, right? People need to be talking to you about your numbers, right? About the unit economics, about what things cost, how much you can afford to acquire a customer, how much can you afford to pay for a customer, and all of that sort of stuff needs to be done upfront to give you the best possible result at the end of the day. Then the next best steps, right? So how do we go about executing that digital growth strategy? So all of that stuff that I've just covered, staying up to date with what's happening within the industry, with what's happening within the platforms, right? So that you have a level of knowledge that you can go either out to the market and find somebody to help you with your digital growth, or so that you can bring the right talent into your team. Ask them the right questions, make sure that they've got the right experience, bring those people into your team so that you have the best chance at executing online, right? So it's about being able to find who, again, as I mentioned before, finding who, not how, and then executing on that, right? Making your digital growth strategy something that is an investment, right? It's something that you focus on. It's something that can really change the game in 2021 and beyond. And the question really does come down to who, right? So please, if you are a business owner that is sitting there and you're trying to run your e-commerce store, your Shopify store, you're trying to run all of your Facebook ads, you're doing fulfillment, you're doing you're basically wearing all of the hats, please do look at the best way to achieve your objective is to not try and do everything, but it's trying to find the right people to partner with in order to get you the results that you want. If you're in a professional services business, right, or marketing for you is much more based around lead generation, the same kind of thing, right? Pouring all of your time into running LinkedIn ads or optimizing your website. As a general manager, as a CEO, as the business owner, you really want to make sure that you can free up your time to work on the things that are most important, and have people in place who can drive your marketing for you and get the results that you're looking for. And that is it. That's basically it. That was the whole premise of the presentation around digital growth, what CMOs, managing directors, and C-suite need to know when it comes to digital. It is much more at that high-level stuff. What can the platforms provide for us? What might be we leaving on the table currently? What things could we be taking advantage of or testing or trying? And really using that to grow business in an increasingly online and digital world. So I really hope that helps. I hope that provides some clarity for people. If you've got any questions, would love to know, please feel free to reach out. And if you enjoyed this episode, please do let us know. If you think somebody that could benefit from this episode and the information that we've just shared, please do send them a quick link, share it over on Instagram, let them know about the episode, give them a shout out, because we would love this podcast to be able to reach as many people as possible. Thanks, guys, for watching. We hope to see you over the next episode, and I'll talk to you very soon. So that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. As we mentioned, we'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on this episode. You can do that by heading over to our Instagram at AttentionMedia Agency and letting us know what your thoughts. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. We'd also love to know what you'd like us to talk about in upcoming episodes. So send us your topic ideas. We are always interested. And if you'd love to know more, head over to the website attentionmedia.com.au. That's all for now. We'll see you in the next episode.